is Randy Blamos. I'm a therapist and hypnotherapist in Rockland County, New York, about 45 minutes north of New York City. I am looking to do a series of YouTube videos, both for clients and for therapists themselves as supervision or to give them additional tools. These series of YouTube videos and the book I'm trying to put together are coming out because of a big gap in services that I found in Rockland County and throughout the country in terms of helping people to recognize trauma and post-traumatic stress when it occurs and helping people to work it through. I'm going to give you a little bit about my background and then about what we're looking to do. Like I mentioned, I have a master's in psychology from Yeshiva University, a master's in social work from Fordham University. I have additional certifications, both state, federal, and international, in addictions, as well as a certificate in hypnosis and hypnotherapy. I belong to a number of different agencies, or rather organizations, including the American Academy of Experts in Traumatic Stress and the National Center for Crisis Management. I am not an expert at the technology piece from this, so what you are seeing and hearing is pretty much an unedited communication, as opposed to having everything scripted. When I talk about trauma, trauma can be anything from bullying to sexual abuse to rape to incest to verbal abuse, crime victims, for example, being threatened with a gun or a knife, kidnapping, and hundreds of other situations, including work-related, that I've dealt with. There's been a whole bunch of people that are affected by trauma. Sometimes people feel that what I went through doesn't mean trauma. It's not that big a deal. But if we find that something happens that we say, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to think about it, we kind of shove it into a tank and keep it put away, but that every so often something in the present kicks up a reaction that's related to that we don't quite understand, and we act out or have panic attacks or depression, then we need to deal more with it, with somebody that knows what they're doing. In Rockland County, where I work, I found that a large number of people would come to me for therapy after seeing somebody for years. They may have been told they had post-traumatic stress disorder, but no one ever explained what the hell it was. Or they may have mentioned it to the therapist, but it never went and addressed any of those issues. If a client wishes to not address something like that to me is okay. This person who's gone through it should have the choice of, quote, working it through. The therapist should be there to help through if somebody wishes, not to help avoid. That tank I just talked about, that we can shove memories and events. When we've gone through things that are traumatic, any of those instances I was talking about, or other situations, we can shove them in that container. And it's an attempt to deal with it. It may be having an alcoholic parent and not knowing what the hell will happen when that person comes home, so be very quiet, we go through anxiety, and we just want to survive. And we never know when that explosion is going to occur, so we become very anxious. So we shove that down. Sometimes when we shut that stuff down for a long period of time, at other times, later in life, something occurs. And then we have panic attack or depression or rage or confusion, don't understand why. That's when therapy can be helpful. Example, I had a woman that had been kidnapped and multiply stabbed. She wound up with a therapist in another state who kept on asking her, how was your day? But never provided information on what occurred, helped her understand that she wasn't crazy, provided information that pretty much said, here's the condition that you're going through. There is hope, we can help make it through, we can help you through. Same situations have occurred with somebody with a knife assault to them, or that was robbed with a gun, or one with her being on the floor with her baby during a burglary and a gun being pointed and said, shut that kid up. All of these events and others get recorded into our hard drive of the brain. Visually perhaps, word-wise, feeling-wise, in other ways, to where they can get triggered up sometime later and lead to anxiety, depression, and all sorts of other conditions that we do to try to cope with it. Running doesn't work. I am convinced that therapy works. Not only am I convinced that therapy works, I'm putting this out because I think it's important to know that it does. If it was not helpful, then it would be a waste of time to do therapy in regard to it, and I wouldn't be taking the time to do what I'm doing now. If somebody knows what the hell they're doing in terms of working with trauma, and somebody wishes, it works. Some people may go without needing therapy, great for them. But if somebody finds that they keep on having this crap come up again and again, then it's a damn good idea to get some help and to look at what's going on. So, not everybody needs treatment for PTSD or trauma. Sometimes it is. It doesn't mean that somebody whacked, loony, or crazy, or that will never get better. Quite the opposite. When somebody does come in for treatment, and whether I use hypnosis or another model, and I'll talk about hypnosis in a moment, they wind up going through and being in less pain than they were when they were trying to avoid. And whether it be EMDR, which is a method of treatment, whether it be the kind of hypnosis which is more like going to a movie and still knowing what's going on around and not being out cold. And if I said to somebody, anytime you put your thumb in for things, you feel better if you relax like you do now, that becomes helpful later on. That's the kind of hypnosis I'm talking about, where somebody can know they're in control. They have the choice. There is help. There is hope. They're not whacked. That is part of what I'm looking to do in this series. Another part of this series is to help therapists to know what the heck they're doing as well, those that may have not been trained, so that we wind up helping people get through horrific conditions. And I'm also looking to put one together for people that have gone through Irene, excuse me, wrong hurricane, Sandy, these other storms, and to know there is help, there is hope, there is a way through. Take care, and hope to have you look at some or more of these seminars as that global. Again, Randy Blywell's Robert Crest Counseling, and you can reach me at Randy at Harbor, HARBOR -CREST.com. Take care.